Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Cafe Bagheri. You all know that on this channel, I only cook things that I absolutely love. And one of my all-time favorites for the cold season during the fall and winter is Khoresh-e Morgh, which literally translates to chicken stew. I know you're gonna love this Khoresh, so stick around, let's get cooking. For this recipe, we're going to be using chicken thighs. I'm using 4 of them, which is about a total of 2 pounds or a kilogram. Chicken thighs have more fat, as you know, and make for a juicier, more flavorful dish. I'm going to keep the bone in the thighs when I'm cooking them in the stew. And the reason for that is that the bones tend to keep more of the moisture in the meat. So we're gonna go with bone-in, but skinless chicken thighs. If you have trouble pulling the skin off, you can use a piece of paper towel so your hand won't slip off. There's a little bit of fat on the edges that we're gonna remove. A little bit of this fat here and there is flavor. So we're gonna keep some of it on. All right, before we start braising or cooking our chicken, we're going to brine it in a simple solution of lukewarm water and a couple of tablespoons of salt, and make sure they are submerged and leave it for about an hour and a half. We change our board from the one I use for meat to this white one, which is the one I use for vegetables. I have a couple of medium-sized carrots. If you have washed your carrots, you don't really need to peel them, skin them. There we go. I'm gonna put all of the vegetables in this bowl here. The recipe calls for a couple of medium Yukon Gold or new potatoes, red potatoes. I happen to have these little heirloom small red potatoes that I'm going to use. The next thing we're going to do is shred a couple of Roma tomatoes. In addition to tomato paste, that's the basis for the broth in the stew, I add a couple of fresh tomatoes. If you have a large beef steak or some sort of large tomato, that will do. These are a couple of medium Roma tomatoes, and I'm using a box shredder to just shred them with skin and all. There. Here's what we end up with. The recipe calls for 1 large yellow or white onion. There you go. This is what we're looking for. We also have a couple of cloves of garlic. This is entirely optional, but I like a little bit of garlic in this chicken stew. I have my Dutch oven, my favorite Dutch oven that I use for Khoresh, because it's got thick bottom and it has great heat distribution for Persian Khoreshes, any stews you want to make. This is something I've showed you before. Because I don't make a particular recipe every day like restaurants do 12 times a day, day after day, I don't memorize recipes details quite as they're written down. So here's what I do. This is called Mise En Place, a French word, which means everything in its place. And if I've repeated that in previous videos, I apologize. So what it is, every ingredient in the amount you need has been pre-measured, so when you're cooking, you're not really preoccupied with that. Everything's set up for you. And one other thing I do in addition to that, I set them in the right order as they are used in the recipe: chicken, onion, potato, carrots, so on and so forth, in the chronological order that they're used. Even the timing of, like, when you saute chicken, how many minutes you saute, or onions or whatnot, I put a masking tape with a little handwritten note that says how many minutes. That way I won't have to keep running back to my recipe and it's just in front of me doing it. Okay, we have our Dutch oven on medium high and it's preheated. We're gonna put 3 tablespoons of a neutral vegetable oil. We're going to initially saute our chicken thighs, cook them about 3 to 4 minutes on each side by themselves. The first side of our chicken is cooked for 4 minutes. We're gonna turn them now and cook the other side for about 4 minutes. So we have our 4 chicken thighs cooked and the pre-saute to give them some flavor and color. Now we're going to add a couple of more tablespoons of oil on the top of what we had there. Lower the temperature to about medium or a little lower. And we're gonna add our onions. And we're going to immediately add the turmeric over the onions. The onions need to cook between 3 to 4 minutes. And now we're gonna add our tomato paste. You have a couple of heaping tablespoons of tomato paste. What we're trying to do here now is to make sure the tomato paste gets cooked a little bit with the onions. Now we're gonna add our carrots and potatoes. The next thing we do is we're going to add our liquids. There you go. And I would add about half a cup of hot water. At this point we also add our shredded tomatoes. And we will go ahead and add our dried limes. These are Amani limes. All right, we have everything but our spices in there now. We're going to go ahead and add the chicken thighs back in the stew. All 4 of them. There you go. And a little bit of juice that has gathered in the little plate that was holding the chicken. That's all goodness, so we're gonna add it back in. I'm going to bring this to a quick boil now. All right, our stew is boiling now. It's in a rolling boil, as they say. We're going to drop it to low temp and go for the long haul for a whole hour. At 20 and 40 minutes, I'm going to open it up, stir it, and let it go. Okay, we are at 20 minutes. We're gonna give it a little stir. Oh, look at it. We're doing good. 40 minutes. Oh, it looks beautiful. I wish you could smell this. Awesome. Got 20 more minutes to go. All right, we're at the end of 1 hour. Oh my goodness, this smells awesome. This is the time when we give it a good stir and add all of our spices, starting with salt and pepper, cumin. We have some cardamom, some cinnamon. The last item I'm adding at this time is some hot pepper, cayenne. This is totally optional. It's just a touch of little heat in the back of your throat. So I've added all the spices that go in there and give it a good stir. Here's one other thing we're gonna do. Remember, we left the bones in the chicken thighs. Now I am going to remove the bones from the thighs. We're not gonna shred the chicken. We're gonna remove the bone and just cut it into pieces. We're gonna go another 15 minutes and this thing will be done. Our chicken stew, Khoresh-e Morgh, is ready. Hour and a half. I put about a tablespoon of fresh squeezed lime juice, about a quarter of teaspoon of ground saffron. We're gonna give it about 5 minutes and then we're gonna serve it and enjoy it. All right, look at this goodness. I know the camera lady wants to have some of this right away. Here's what I like to do usually. See that dried lime, the Amani lime that's been cooking for over an hour? I kind of press it to get some of that juice and goodness, some of that acid and some of that umami out. And let's not forget the crispy potatoes. This stew in Iran is served with French fries. So you fry some potatoes, potato sticks, and serve it kind of like Gheymeh, Khoresh, the split pea Khoresh that we have a video for. What I do is I get these crispy potato sticks, Khoresh-e Morgh, with your saffron rice, which is how I serve it. You can serve this with a salad, Shirazi goes well, or a garden salad of some kind. Make this Khoresh and send me pictures. You can share your posts or tag me on your posts and your stories on Instagram at Cafe Bagheri, or just send me the picture. I really want to see what you guys do with this. If you like this video, please like below. If you haven't subscribed, there's a tiny chance that some of you haven't subscribed to this channel yet. So please subscribe and hit that little bell button so we can keep in touch and you get notifications when delicious stuff is happening here. Holidays right now are around the corner. Christmas and the rest of it, New Year's, and we are going to have some special recipe or recipes up. Please come back and see me right here at Cafe Bagheri very, very soon. See you soon.